amazing speaker. All right, there goes the recording top notes. I was saying I'll be the moderator for today's session, but it would be great if this session is quite interactive and we have an amazing speaker who will be joining us soon. His name is Samson, and Serafina was not able to join us today. So basically, if you joined the call because you had seen her flyer, she would join us today, but she'll definitely be able to plug in future events. So I think, let me pass it over to Lucy to just give us a brief overview, and then she'll guide us on the next steps, and then I'll take it back from her. Lucy, over to you.
Thank you. Thank you, Maureen, for that icebreaker. That was interesting. I had not thought of what to say, but I'll give my feedback on the chat. So I'm here to give you a brief overview of the project. Digital Opportunity Trust, in collaboration with GIZ, is implementing a project that seeks to empower gig workers here in Kenya. And we do this by providing comprehensive online freelance training and masterclasses. And these masterclasses is one of them. We usually call them gig talks. We aim to ensure that gig workers are well informed about fair working conditions in the gig economy through a series of well-organized Atingi courses. I'm going to give my colleague Anthony, after I'm done, to take us through Atingi courses, how you register, and what is expected of you after you register. Additionally, we plan to also scale up mentorship and peer learning programs, and we do this through recruiting mentors who support and guide gig workers through a series of essential skills such as consulting, virtual assistants, just to name but a few. This program, we are targeting 2,500 gig workers in Kenya, and we aim to ensure that we target also 40% women who are engaged in gig work. We work with TVETs and colleges, and we have collaborated with a few of them who are implementing our online freelance training, that is Leash AI Hub, Active Hub, and also Pwani Techno Girls in Mombasa. We are also working across Kenya. That being said, we have targeted all gig workers in Kenya. That is it from me. I'll give Anthony a chance to also introduce the Atingi courses and also take us through how to register. Over to you, Anthony.
Thank you, Lucy. Can you hear me? Thank you. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning from wherever you are joining us today. We are happy to host you for this third gig talk that we are hosting for online workers or freelancers or gig workers. So one of the approach that we've taken for gig workers, so that we reach as many young people, so that we reach to as many freelancers as possible, is to incorporate a digital learning platform in this project, so that you are able to get some information and knowledge in terms of some of the essential soft skills that you might require, that are very, very needed 21st century skills for any gig worker. So if you allow me to share my screen. These essential soft skills, as I've mentioned, are very important to help you just understand and drive a change, have a positive income for you as a gig worker. It will help you understand what it means when we are talking about gig work, what it means when we are talking about digital labor rights. It will help you understand what we mean when we are saying somebody is in online work as well. So the platform that we are using for this is called Atingi. That is ATINGI. I'll just jump into what it is. So Atingi is a digital labor platform that has been created and developed by GIZ that seeks to allow young people to unlock their full potential, acquire new skills, and significantly improve their chances in the digital labor market. So it addresses critical employment and educational skills gap that are in this gig or digital labor market. So of course, there's always that training that one gets, the technical training that one gets. Either you are a virtual assistant, either you are a data entry person, either you are into consultancy, either you are into web design, either you are a delivery and taxi hailing, either you are in that field as well. There's always a lot of technical training that one receives, and then institutions or colleges always misses on the very essential soft skills that are required for you just to build you as an individual and as a person within this emerging field. So before I show you how to, register and get to learn, I want to take you very fast in the next 3 or so minutes. So run with me here so that we save on time as well on what to expect. So there are 3 important learning bundles within the Atingi platform for a gig worker. One of those platforms is navigating the gig economy. So it is important for one to understand how they can navigate the gig economy because it's a really fast-paced market. The digital labor market is really fast-paced, but particularly here in Kenya. So someone might have a challenge on understanding where should I begin after getting this skill? How am I supposed to get into these platforms that are available? So the first course within the navigation of the gig economy bundle will introduce you to just understanding and give you practical insights on navigating platforms that are available in the gig economy, some of the challenges you are going to face within that, and help you in thriving within the dynamic world of online work. And then there's a very interesting course on understanding fair working conditions. So of course, as a gig worker, you use platforms that help you in getting work. So you need to really understand what is fair pay, okay? What are some of the issues when it comes to contracts? What are some of the issues that comes when it comes to social security for you as a worker? Because as we insist on saying, gig work is not a side hustle today, gig work is work. So you need to understand how you move around issues of fair working conditions with platform owners, with people who come into these platforms to give you work. So this course is very, very important for a beginner to just understand how to, navigate working conditions. And then lastly, within this bundle is maximizing the potential of women in gig work. This is very important because particularly in the case of Kenya, most men are seen to be more aggressive as compared to women in just getting into the gig work. And this could be because of several reasons, including social and economic reasons that are there that women have to be responsible for. So to help women understand, even as men, to help us understand how can we support women better in just maximizing their potential and getting into the gig work. There's a very nice curated course here that will help you gain insights in the role of women in the digital economy, understand the unique challenges that women are facing, their rights and entitlements in the gig economy. So please, if you have some time as a man, as a lady, as anybody who is interested in just promoting women in getting into the gig economy, have some time and go through this course, and you will understand that. So another bundle that is very, very, very important for a gig worker is the skills trio. So under the skills trio bundle, you will get 3 main courses within it. One is essential financial literacy for gig workers. It is very important for each and everyone to understand that as a gig worker, you will have those days that you are really earning, and then there are days that you will experience a lot of dry spell, there's no work coming, or you're just engaged in other things that may take your time and you may not give you 100% in gig work. So how do you balance the finances that you get in these platforms? So this course is for you to give you the essential skills as a gig worker, just to understand, how do I do budgeting? There are works that will require you to invoice. How do you do invoices? The issues of taxation. What are some of the taxation rules that are there specifically for us Kenyans? How do we maneuver around such issues and managing cash flows? So this is a very important course. It has downloadable templates that you can use, more so for invoicing, that will help you for budgeting, that will help you gauge on how your money flows. And then secondly is on essential soft skills for gig workers. Now this one looks for fundamental soft skills that you really need in terms of customer service, in terms of personal growth. How do you explore effective communication techniques? Because you need to know how to communicate in these platforms that we use to get job. What are some of the communication techniques? What should be your response time when you are online? When you get a gig, for example, how do you communicate with the client? There are issues of conflict that arise. Remember, gig work, digital labor market is a market the same as the traditional labor market. So conflicts sometimes come up. How do you solve conflicts? Where should you go to? Whom should you speak to? And then just to have the self-confidence to build you, so that you move from probably a beginner to intermediate to somebody who now we call fully fledged gig worker. So this will help you very, very much. And then finally, within the skills trio bundle is essential digital skills for gig workers. Remember that gig work is different. There are 3 levels to gig work. There are those who use who are in gig work but use very minimal technology. There are those who use just technology to support them in getting work, so they do not need a high level literacy of technology or digital skills. There are those who use extensive level of digital skills. So it varies depending with where you are within the digital labor market. So this course will give you insights and you will gain orientation on some of the very crucial digital skills that you require to thrive in the digital economy. Issues of data literacy, you need to understand that there are so many young people in TikTok, in Instagram, that flaunt a lot of data literacy laws and regulations. It will help you understand how are you supposed to navigate such issues. Online communication is really, really important. Digital content creation as well. If you want to move into that, how to remain safe online, you'll be able to learn all those. And then lastly, the sectoral course within the 3 bundles. This course specifically created for those who are in the taxi hailing or delivery services. We are talking Uber, Faras, we are talking Taxify, we are talking Glovo, we are talking, Dialer Delivery. All these people, they are in the digital economy. They need to understand some of the issues to do with financial literacy as well. Their level of budgeting will be very different with those other people who use cloud-based, who are in the cloud-based labor market. So they need to understand. So these courses teaches them on budgeting, personal financing, evaluating financial services that they require, and setting saving goals. There's also a course on digital literacy that has been created in them to help them in on essential knowledge and maximizing earnings and improving their conditions of work. Remember, they use for location-based gig workers, they use a lot of their platform use a lot of artificial intelligence just to give them work. How do you maneuver around issues of AI just to make sure that you get job at all time and at the most needed hours? And then there's issues of customer service. Remember, location-based gig workers, sometimes, most of the time, they meet their clients in person. So you need to have good customer orientation. So this course will give you the basic concepts of customer orientation. How do you talk to your customer? How do you ask for referrals? How do you ask for return clients, and so on? And then finally is on road safety, which is very, very important for more so if you are using a motorcycle, for example. So this is a crash course for you that will give you basic road safety measures to keep you as a rider and other road users safe. So those are the three bundles. As you can see, they are very, very important. So you will just give me a minute to show you how to now get to Atingi. So you can go to your browser at any time. Let me stop sharing this really quick in 1 minute. Sorry. So you can go to any browser and then you just write Atingi, like that, ATINGI. So when you search on that, the first search is the Atingi platform. So you will have to click on that link, and then it will request you to register. If you can move with my cursor, you will see register now. So once you register, you will be able to log in. So let me say myself, let me see if I'd already registered, but once you register, this is how you'll be able to now access the courses. As you can see, welcome, Anthony. This was my earlier registration. These are the courses that I've been talking about: introduction to navigating the gig economy, maximizing the potential gig workers. So there's a form that will be shared during this session. Please register on that form, and below that form, you will see a link that will lead you to all the courses that I've talked about today for gig workers. Please feel free to interact with the platform. We are always available as Digital Opportunity Trust to respond to any of your questions if you have challenges navigating this platform. So thank you very much, and I'll stop sharing now and give it back to you, Lucy. Thank you.
Thank you, Anthony. Thank you for that comprehensive and detailed Atingi registration. And I'm going to give Maureen a chance to take us through the next steps. Yes. Karibu, Maureen.
Thank you so much. So I see, and thanks, Anthony, for taking us through that detailed introduction. There were two people raising their hands while Anthony was speaking. So I just want to check if you had any questions. So there's Isaac and Pooja. Do you have any questions or comments on what has been presented so far?
Hello.
Hello, yes.
Yeah, thank you, Maureen. And I actually have two concerns. One, and I even attended previous training of such kind, which was very important actually as this one. So last time you were not sharing, you shared with us YouTube link, but right now I'm requesting if you can get two things. One, if you can share with us the presentation slides by email. At the same time, if you can also share with us the links for the websites that you can learn from those concepts you have so far presented. Thank you.
Okay, thanks so much. That has already been dropped on the chat as a link. So you already have access to the Atingi platform. And
what of others? There's another one called Skills Trail. I don't know.
Okay, so basically, all those courses are hosted within the Atingi platform. So the step-by-step process is you log in, you create an account, and then you'll be able to access all those bundled courses.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, so that Atingi platform is home to all those resources. So you don't need to go through many other interfaces. So everything that has been presented is within that umbrella of Atingi. Awesome. Pooja, please go ahead.
Can you all hear me?
Yes, we can.
Wait a minute. What's going on here?
We can hear you.
I can hear you, Pooja.
Can you say something?
We can
Yes,
hear
we
you,
hear you.
Pooja.
Okay. Hi, everyone. Nice to meet you. I'm just barging in and jumping in. I'm Pooja from GIZ, and we are very happy to see so many of you in this gig talk. And thank you so much, Anthony, for presenting our courses. Also, I can talk a little bit about it later, but I think the most important thing that you all have to do, and am I allowed to share my screen?
I don't think you have the sharing rights, but just give it a shot, you see.
Okay, let's try if I can do that. Do you see my screen now?
No, we don't.
And now?
Mm-mm.
Okay. Anyways, I think I don't want to make it complicated, but when you go on atingi.org, if anybody else who can share their screen can go on atingi on the, .org, I can tell you 3 simple steps to find our courses, because otherwise there are about 800 courses on atingi and it can be very overwhelming for you on what you are looking for. So just go on atingi.org. Can someone share their screen and go to atingi.org? Correct. Now from here, are you able to search? There should be a search tab, our courses. Can you click our courses? Okay, go to course library. Yes, and on top right, you see a search bar. Now here on the search bar, the magnifying glass, even before you register, if on the magnifying glass, yes, just below that. Yes, perfect. Now you type gig economy. Yes, type gig economy here. Right. And you press search. And now you see gig economy all courses. Click there. Click the first link on top, gig economy all courses. So friends, all the courses that we have designed for all of you, keeping your needs in mind, can you scroll up to the page? Scroll up. Yes. Yes. So all the courses that we have designed for you all, keeping your needs in mind, especially designed for platform work and platform workers, you can find all these courses on this page. If you slowly scroll down now, yes, please scroll down, scroll down, scroll down. Stop. Stop. You see the 3 boxes. So here you see which are the courses that are available for workers. If you are a gig economy rider, for example, you work as a rider or a courier or a driver, then we have special courses for you. You can click here. If you are a student who wants to learn more about data, agile regulation, etc., so we have courses for you there. So you just need to click the correct box and then you will be taken to the course that you want, that is relevant for you. You click workers. Correct. You scroll down. Okay, you're not logged in, so you can't see it. Can you go back? Can you please go back on the page? Yes. And now when you scroll down, when you go back, Yes, on this page, you can see all the different courses that Anthony was talking about. Scroll down. Can you show me the first? Yes, stop. The first ones. So if you see there is a learning pathway, you all can take each course individually also, but you can also take them as bundles, as Anthony was explaining. And every time you take a course as a bundle, you get a separate badge and a certificate. And so my recommendation is that for anyone who is in a hurry, who has no more than 2 hours to spend, to definitely take the course on fair working conditions, because that talks to you the third box. Please don't scroll, the third box. And for anyone who wants to upskill themselves on the basics of financial literacy, soft skills and digital skills, to take the courses highlighted in yellow. So take the courses highlighted in red and take the courses highlighted in yellow based on your needs. But if you also want to take a little more complicated and more technical courses, if you scroll down, there are courses. Yes, please go to the blue boxes. You will see courses on data and algorithms, taxation, what is platform work in general. You can also take those courses, but my recommendation is that you first come to the search bar and search gig economy. Otherwise, you will end up in this beautiful library of Atingi courses, more than 800 courses, and you will end up taking a lot of courses, but they might not be customized or tailored for the gig economy. So I just wanted to complement with this information so that you don't feel overwhelmed, you don't feel lost. Always go to the search bar, type gig economy, and all the courses will come on one page. Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity, and my apologies for just jumping in because wanted to make sure everybody understood it correctly.
Thanks, Pooja. I think that was quite meaningful and very, very practical, because when I logged in, that interface was a bit confusing, and that clarifies. And I think that answers one of the questions that was in the chat. So just how do you navigate and what's the pathway? So I think from what I've gotten from you, it's log on. Once you log in, go to the search button and specifically search for the gig economy. And then I like the journey. I like the train. It seemed like a train. Like this. It was quite
Competency pathway. Maureen, what we've tried to do is design a competency pathway for our friends who are working in the gig economy, because there is a lot of competency pathways available for those who are working as designers or artists, but there are very few competency pathways for a gig worker. So we want to give you the confidence and then all the other things that Anthony said. But this is the easiest way to find the right courses that are designed for you, which are not generalist, but each of these courses we have designed considers the unique challenges that you all must be facing as workers in the platform economy. I stop here and I hand it over back to you all. Good luck and thank you so much for organizing this session.
Awesome. I think it's been meaningful. So we'll go to the next session, which is really to introduce our panelists and the people who are going to be engaging us. So like I said, there were to be two of them, Samson Muriungi and Sarafina Nyawera. Sarafina is not going to be joining us. And then also there's myself, who's the moderator. My name is Morina Makabane. I've been a gig worker for the last 12 years, going on to the 13th year. And it's been quite meaningful. And I've been able to really secure jobs, both on open source platforms and also just through other forms of reading. So our speaker and panelist for today, his name is Samson. He's a program manager, a digital freelancing program for Generation Kenya. So Samson says he's a skillful projects and program manager with a focus on driving projects for community work, youth empowerment, and the gig economy. He is also a digital freelancer with over 8 years of experience. So I'll hand it over to you, Samson. Please just introduce yourself. Tell us one thing that is not on your bio. That's the first assignment. The second assignment is tell us what's one fun thing about yourself. And then if you are a bird or an animal, what kind of animal or bird do you feel like? Over to you, Samson.
Yes, Maureen, thank you so much for having me here today. Such a pleasure to interact with everyone, especially gig or economy workers, digital freelancers, people pushing the digital economy. Yeah, like you all have heard, my name is Samson Muriungi. I'm the program manager for digital freelancing program at Generation Kenya. Generation Kenya is a non-profit organization that supports youth employment through training, preparing, and placing youth into employment opportunities. So yeah, Maureen, you've asked some of the things that have not been mentioned in my bio. Yeah, I started freelancing in 2015. Maybe that is not in my bio. I began with content creation. You know, back then we didn't have such forums. We didn't have a lot of organizations interested in gig work. We didn't have even the government touching on gig work. And even your friends, most of them would be surprised, quite surprised when they hear, you know, they are called online workers. So I started in 2015 as a content creator, blogging and writing article and content. Then with time, I grew through into SEO, into content strategy. Then I moved into digital marketing, you know, all the aspects of digital marketing, you know, social media, email marketing. I kept on upskilling myself, moved into web design and ICT projects. And then through my journey, I worked on various platforms. I worked both through platform work as well as direct clients. When I was starting, there was a platform called iWriter. I know, Maureen, you may know about it. It was called iWriter. Yeah, you know, with gig work, things keep on changing a lot. So iWriter disappeared. We moved to Upwork, Freelancer, Guru, and we have new platforms nowadays. But also I've worked with several clients directly from all over the world. I moved into digital marketing, then virtual assistants, and now project management. And so currently I'm pushing a lot of project and program management. My focus is mostly on community work and nonprofits, especially youths. And so I'm glad to be here today. One of the other things you asked about is, you know, a fun thing about me. Well, fun thing about me, I don't know if everyone may call it fun, but I find it interesting is that I'm a strong believer of diversity, so I don't really mind people's color, race, name, second name or last name, tall, short, dark, white, red. You know, we just interact and have a good time. Yes, and I like traveling. I like sport, motorsport. Yeah, so that's me in a nutshell, and I'm quite excited to interact with everyone here because I know we have the same interest. Thank you, Maureen.
Awesome. Thanks, Samson, for that detailed introduction. And I think I've picked up some few things. You talked about upskilling. You talked about the fact that when we started this job, we didn't have organizations that actually were supporting us. So we somehow blindly navigated into the space. And then, of course, you talked about the multiple skill sets that you have been able to acquire and actually get into. So really, that's where I think I'd like to start from, which is upskilling. And I think it's linked to something in the comment that Clarence has asked. So Clarence has asked, help me understand, once we complete the program pathway, we will be better suited to pursue gigs, or will there be post-assistance program? So I'm gonna answer this question with a bias as a gig worker. I think the whole idea, and then of course, maybe later the DOT team, the DOT team can actually answer from a very technical perspective. Would they be offering support? But as a gig worker, one of the things that I would like to tell everybody on this call is once you get that certificate, you have to go out there and find the jobs. And there are multiple open source platforms where you can find the job. And I like saying, even before you go online, you can actually just start within your own social network. People you went to high school with and maybe they're running a business. You can say, hey, I have this and I can help you in this. And then of course, like you're saying, this is just another way of upskilling. So Samson, I have a few questions for you. And the first question on my tab is, maybe you can tell us, would you please, what's your understanding of digital learning, and what is the shift from the traditional digital learning, and how has this impacted your way of acquiring knowledge and skills in today's world?
Yes, thank you so much, Maureen. And so, when you talk about digital learning, ideally is learning through digital platforms, or rather you can call it simply online learning. You don't have to go to your traditional classroom and sit there with a room 8 in the morning to evening. You can learn from various digital platforms, and these, of course, provides many people with access to learning, wherever you are, anytime you want to learn, and different courses or areas of study. And so when you talk about the shift that I've seen from the traditional learning, one, of course, is there's no more physical classes. You don't have to commute, you don't have to look for a physical class to study. It doesn't matter where you are, as long as you have access to digital platforms, you have access to infrastructure, that is internet and electricity, you can still learn from these digital platforms. And I think that one has changed a lot, the way people understand the world at large. It has impacted many people, the way they understand and approach work. You don't have to come to the capital city to study courses around digital work. You can still work from anywhere you are. With the digital learning, we've also seen a variety of courses and skills that one can learn from. Your typical school has very fixed courses, but with the digital learning, you can do a variety of courses that are offered, whether it's within your country or outside. You can learn at any time that you want. There's that flexibility. You can learn based on your own schedule. There are courses and digital platforms that offer you a chance to plan your time. So you can decide to learn in the evening after your normal day's activities. You can decide to learn in the morning or even during weekends. Another part is that there is versatility, that you can also take multiple courses at the same time. You don't have to stick to one course to the end without touching another course. You can still simultaneously study multiple courses. And again, it's also affordable. Digital learning, it's quite affordable. It doesn't have all the logistical and infrastructure resources required for traditional form of learning. So most of these courses are quite affordable. Some of them are free. So it gives a chance to many people to get access to this learning. And I feel with the world moving so fast, it would take too much time for the traditional way of learning to support or to catch up with the fast moving technology. And so access to digital learning creates a good environment to bridge that gap. Because, for example, when you look at AI is progressing so fast that people cannot keep up with it. If we have to wait for Longhorn publishers to publish a book on AI so that it will come to our schools, then it will take a long time. But the digital platforms are offering that and providing people with capabilities that you don't have to go to the university for each and every course out there. You can still learn from anywhere and still become a professional in that. Yeah.
Awesome. I think you're talking about flexibility, accessibility, time management. It's multi-skilled, and and definitely those are some of the things that actually is making the world to become very fast-paced. I like the example you've given about Longhorn. If it was to take Longhorn a long time, I mean, how long would it take for Longhorn to publish a book on AI? But the digital platform has been able to just do that.
Yeah.
So from where you sit, what digital learning strategies are most effective in equipping gig workers with the essential skills needed for the gig economy?
Yeah, so
what are the essential skills do you believe are most crucial?
Yeah, so when we talk about essential skills for digital learning, Maureen, we are talking about things as a digital worker or as a gig economy worker you should understand when it comes to digital learning that will, offer you value and provide an effective pathway into digital learning that will help you better be equipped when it comes to learning. And so one of the things I've seen lately is and strategies that I feel are quite good, it's personalized learning or customizable learning. And this is learning that helps you forge a career towards a certain area. For example, when we talk about ride hailing, when you talk about digital skills and digital economy, when you talk about customer service, then for digital learning platforms to offer the best for their learners, or for a learner to get the most, then getting a chance to interact with courses that are very well tailored to your journey, it's one of the best strategies, because again, you don't want to learn and touch everything. You have a focus, there's something you want to learn, there's something you want to explore. And so if you have a platform that focuses directly into that, then it becomes easier for you to progress. And like you mentioned, some of us, when we was beginning freelancing or gig work those years ago, we didn't know which path we wanted to follow. So it was a lot of touch and let go, touch and touch, interacting with people, blindly walking and trying to find as much information as you can get. But with well-tailored courses, it makes it possible for someone to identify a path they want to pursue and push on it. The other thing I can think about is it's the schedule. It's how the schedule in that digital platform is like. That one can enhance the skills in the gig economy, because again, there's so much going on, honestly, when you talk about gig workers, there are some of them that have other things to do. You have a family, you're in school, or you're attending to other things. So as much as you're learning, you can also be already working. You're already working in the digital platforms, you have a client. So this digital learning platform must provide you with a flexible schedule, and you should be able to customize it to your interests. You don't have to be there every day from 8 to 10. If you are able to change the timing, that flexibility, it's one of the ways that can boost skills for the gig economy participant. Well, I would also talk about certification, because again, when we look at digital learning, there are people who are interested in short and soft skills, skills that, like communication, like planning. These are all, or time management. These are very soft skills. But when we go to the other side, where we have gig workers who are interested in very technical skills, you want to be a graphic designer, you want to be a web developer, you want to touch at different areas. There are some areas that require certification. There are some areas that require credibility. And so when we look at digital learning, we also have to ask ourselves, how well recognized and am I getting a certification? Am I getting a badge or something to show that, yes, indeed, I pursued that course? Because we've also had gig workers complain that, I did this course, but when I go to look for a job, someone asks me, but you don't have a university degree. Yet I know I'm skilled and I have the experience that is needed to perform that job. So certification can also go a long way in boosting skilling in the gig economy. Well, the other part I can talk about is also, the way courses are designed, because, and I'll compare traditional and digital learning. When you look at traditional courses, I remember people joking around, some of the courses or lessons you get in high school or campus, and asking, how will I use this one? So micro learning or segmented learning can help gig workers, because if I want to know more about AI, I don't have to learn everything else. If I can find a platform that focuses on different segments, it will be very fast for me to gain the skills that I need, and it will be very clear, it will speed up that process. And I think those are some of the strategies that can, in a huge way, support gig workers in acquiring these skills. Then again,
Right.
yeah.
I think let's just first maybe summarize. So I think you talked about credibility certification, receiving a badge, and I like the fact that you've looked it into the fact that you can actually micro learn and actually segment learn. So I think that's very, very key that's a very key takeaway. And I just want to look it in with a very, like we're in Kenya, most of the participants in this call are from Kenya, and just bring it home. So tell us, what's your experience? And can you provide local examples of essential skills within the Kenyan context? And then what advice would you give gig workers, and how do they identify and access these resources? How do I know, like, this is a credible digital learning platform that will support my goal in terms of maybe getting a credible certificate or a certificate that has a badge? Bring it home for us.
Yeah,
Maureen,
so
excuse me, please, Samson. So I want to
yeah.
supplement what Maureen said. That is building portfolio. Also, in your comment, please add how to build portfolio, because some employers may ask you share with your portfolio. So thank you.
All right, thanks for that contribution, Isaac.
Yeah, so Maureen, when we talk about the local market, here in Kenya, you are a graphic designer, you are a virtual assistant, you are into digital marketplace or such areas. And one of the ways to look for platforms that offer credible and value for your learning, of course, it's looking at platforms that are certified by relevant organizations. For example, I saw you guys talking about Atingi and GIZ. We've seen MasterCard releasing the platform Livelihoods project that also is offering digital learning. I already mentioned that Generation Kenya provides courses in digital freelancing program. So you have to relate yourself with bodies, non-profit organizations or governments or organizations that have provided credible and well-certified courses that, you can present or that offer you value. And again, that links very well with the essential skills and the most critical skills that one needs when it comes to the Kenyan market. For example, if you are very well informed and skilled in your technical course, you're a web developer, you're in the customer service, then what else do you need? You have very good technical skills, you know your things around that area, but what else do you need? So one of them, of course, is digital literacy and understanding of tools. Understand tools in your niche. For example, if you are in rider hailing, if you're in delivery, if you're in marketplace, digital marketplace, what are the tools that are quite essential in that area? And things are changing quite fast. When you look at an area like VA, virtual assistants, if you want to be a virtual assistant to an executive, whether it's locally or internationally, what are some of the tools that you really need to make your work effective, but also to interact and engage with other people in your environment? For example, when you talk about email management, when you talk about email campaigns, project planning and tracking, communication, even basic communication, it's quite changing nowadays how teams interact with each other. And so when you're looking at digital platforms that can enable you learn, then you also have to look at platforms that provide the most relevant information in your area. So that's why I'm talking about digital tools. For example, when you talk about areas like transcription. A few years ago, transcription was quite direct and manual. Now it is changing into AI-enabled transcription. So do you understand the tools that are coming up in that area? Do you have access to courses that can enable you equip yourself and be ready for that. The other part I can talk about is around communication. And I know a number of times people talk about communication, but I want to talk about it differently as an essential skill. It's not just communicating, but niche or work-specific communication. Do you communicate as expected based on your niche? You see, the way people communicate in the tech world can be different to how people communicate, in the digital marketing area. The way you communicate to your executive director, who you're a VA to, can be different to how you communicate as a customer service agent or a customer support agent. So learn and understand how to carry yourself, how to communicate your ideas, how to communicate in work, where you're working effectively, because, passing information is not enough, but understanding the tone of the job, the tone of the environment that you are in. And
Awesome.
and just to
Okay.
the last part, Maureen, someone had asked about portfolio, and I know this is one of the areas I've seen bringing a lot of challenges when it comes to gig workers that are beginning, that are very new into the industry. And yes, you have the skills, but you do not have a portfolio. And one of the ways we can look at this is practical areas that you've carried out, practical work that you've done. For example, there are courses that give you practical tests to do so that you can be certified, or the exams. So for example, when you look at project management courses, you have to do practical exams, you have to do practical projects for your exam. So these ones can serve as part of your portfolio because you did it practically, and so that showcases your experience. Another thing is that you can do your own project. For example, if you're a graphic designer, you don't have necessarily to wait until someone hires you. You can take up a project on your own, do what you do best, and that serves as your portfolio. Over to you, Maureen.
Yeah, quite insightful comments and thought-provoking. In this particular section, I think one of the things that have really stood out for me is the skill set of better understanding the sector-specific method of communication. How are people communicating in the field you're in, and how can you sharpen that tool? I think it also still goes back to a lot of how do we do the applications? Are you going to change, for example, your choice of words, the colors you're using, the tone of email, the tone of communication, fonting, and things like that? Yeah. Isaac, I see your hand. Just give me a few minutes, and I'll pass it over to you. I still have a few questions for the main panelists so that we can at least keep on track. So please tell us, what are the trends? And what are the trends in this space, and how can young people or anybody who's actually aspiring to go into this space remain competitive? And then what are some of the challenges you faced? What are some of the challenges that people who are going into this space should anticipate?
Yes, so when you're looking at trends in the gig economy, and not just to, I don't want to repeat myself, but one of them is niche-specific activities or knowledge or information that now there are so many things that are coming up specific to different industries. And if you're not up to date to that information, then very soon you'll be overtaken and it will become difficult for you to catch up. For example, when you look at customer support, there is chatbot supporting, there is email management tools, there is video creation and sharing tools. Nowadays, when you look at meetings, there is AI tools to record minutes and share with other people. So one of the areas I can see trending so much is niche-specific tools and technologies and new things coming up. And so you have to make sure that you carefully look at that and understand. The other part I will talk about learning and platforms and certification, because with the spread of internet and literacy level in the digital area, many people are able to share information. And so you go to an interview and you are asked whether you have a certain course in this area. When you look at, for example, in the niche that I am, when you look at project management, there's a course and a certification called PMP. PMP or PMI is recognized globally. So it doesn't matter where you are, someone will want to know about that. So when I talk about digital learning and experience, then I'm asking, are you going with the trends as pertaining to skilling and certification in your area? If you are a graphic designer, if you're a web developer, there are certain tools, there are certain coding languages that someone will ask you as the first thing that, do you understand this? When you talk about things like GitHub, one of the things people will want you to showcase your work through is GitHub. And they'll ask you, you're saying you're a programmer, you're a web developer, show us your work. So if you have not conversed yourself with such platforms and such tools, then you'll be left out. And lastly, and this you've heard about it before, I'll talk about AI. AI has been talked about a lot, but I would still insist that someone looks at AI platforms or tools that are very close to them and that can support them. The number of AI tools or systems coming up every day, there are too many, and you can't keep up with all of them. Every industry is coming up with AI tools, and so look at a tool that really relates to you and what you want to do, learn it, and then you'll be at par and you'll understand the industry. You had asked about the challenges that people are facing, of course, in the gig economy. One of them as pertaining to learning is cost of learning. And I know, sometimes you want to take a certain course, but you're worried how much will it cost? Do I have enough resources to do that? So in this case, you have to take advantage of such sessions, and thanks so much to Dot for organizing these gig talks, because very many people are able to learn of platforms that are out there, such as Actingi, that are offering free courses. But again, whenever you need more technical courses around various areas of specialization, then you have to look at platforms that offer value for money, platforms that are not too expensive, but still enable you to access information. Because when you look at there are quite a number of platforms out there that are tailored for specific skills. For example, when you look at graphic design, there is a platform like Skillshare that is quite specific to that area. When you look at coding, you have Code Academy, among others that are very specific to that area. But also we have had platforms that offer you a chance to learn, then return on investment, which is addressing the challenge of costs when it comes to digital learning. Then, of course, we have access to technology. Sometimes you want to learn, but you're worried you don't have a laptop. Then in this case, you have to look for a platform that allows you to learn with the most basic access to technology, a platform that is user-friendly, that is mobile user-friendly, so that you're able to learn with what you have. And content, how relevant is the content? Like I've said, the information is changing and moving very fast. And so sometimes you're worried that whatever you're getting is not of value or it's outdated. So I believe these are some of the challenges that gig workers are facing, whereby the gig economy is moving too fast that sometimes you may have access to online work or online courses, but they're still not as relevant as you would have expected.
You're saying that we are in a very, very super fast-paced environment.
Yeah.
The same way the opportunities are presenting themselves in a fast-paced is the same way the opportunities are also diminishing in the same pace. So I think our role as gig workers, from what I say, is to strike a balance of specialization, strike a balance of skilling, strike a balance of using and taking advantage of the digital platform in both ways, and most important, stay in touch. So of course, as we start wrapping up, if you have any questions, please drop them in the chat, but I will also still have a Q&A session coming up. But start dropping the questions on the chat so that as Regina will be taking us through the Q&A session, at least we have some preempted questions. And then still on you, Samson, how does digital literacy impact the ability of gig workers in Kenya to take advantage of online opportunities? And then close it up for us with, so for example, what advice would you give a gig worker who's looking in ways to thrive? And then on just some final commentaries on this amazing resource that DOT and GIZ have put together on their Tingy course. Please just take us through, the abilities, the literacy, and then how do they take advantage of this resource that's already available for them.
Yeah, so when you look at the impact of digital learning platforms, it's quite huge to gig workers, because again, like I mentioned, you don't have to go to a physical school to learn and understand various areas in the digital economy. So you can quickly learn within a very short time. So one of the impact is less time to skill. So you can learn within a few weeks, within a few months, and you're good. Digital platforms are also making online learning and gig economy skilling quite affordable. You don't have to spend a lot of money when it comes to skilling. You can jump into a platform, you can jump into a course and understand exactly what you need to do to start earning in the economy. But one of the most important one I will talk about, it is there's no limit, when it comes to skilling and exploring different opportunities in the digital economy. There's no limit to it. And an example is what I talked about, the way I began as a content creator and moving on into other courses. So if you're a gig worker somewhere who interested in this industry, one, you have to understand that there's no limit to how much you can do, as long as you're willing to keep upskilling yourself. There's a new technology, you have to know about it, so that whenever those new opportunities come up, you'll be ready. When you look at AI, new models of AI are coming up, data annotators are required, people to transcribe are required. And so if you place yourself right at the center of all those activities, then you set yourself ready for, great opportunities that are coming up. So there's no limit. Keep on upskilling yourself, make use of platforms, know what is going on in the market, know what is going on in the tech world, and then all these opportunities as they come, you will be in a better position to tap into them. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much for those amazing insights. It's quite insightful to sit with you. Regina, I'll hand it over to you to just get us through the Q&A.
Thank you so much, our moderator, Maureen, and our speaker, Samson, for that insightful part of the session. We are now moving on to the Q&A session, where we will address some of the questions you've submitted. Now I can't see them on the chat box, but if you'd like to ask your question live, please use the raise hand feature, which you can find at the bottom of your Zoom screen. But before then, I want to throw in a question from Samson, who says, please, not Samson, sorry, Isaac Yusuf, who says, please, Samson, share your organization website for market research. So Samson, you can perhaps share that one. So I would like to open this opportunity for anyone who perhaps is having a question to feel free and raise their hands. Then we have our expert, our speaker, Samson, will be willing to respond to your question. We can start with Rose Ochieng. Please take it on.
Good evening, everyone. I have a question.
Yes, good evening.
What's the difference between remote working and freelancing?
Yeah, thank you so much, Rose Ochieng, for that. Samson, could you share your thoughts on that question kindly?
So yeah, if I got straight, Rose is asking what the difference between remote working and online work, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so
I'm talking freelancing and remote work. What's the difference?
yeah, so when we look at freelancing, mostly it's looked at as the ability to work on various projects or jobs, you know, without a limit or without a very specific full-time job. So, and mostly freelancing is related to platforms where you're working for clients through platforms such as Upwork or Freelancer or Fiverr. Then when you look at remote work, it's where you have a job, but you're working remotely. You can have your employer based in Europe. You can have your employer based in the US, but you're working from Kenya. And that primarily you're working online, you don't have a physical office. However, I would like to add one thing into this is that there are areas where gig workers or freelancers transition into remote work. For example, you are a virtual assistant getting 1 or 2 gigs on the platforms here and there, but you do so well. One day you come across a client who tells you, I like your work. Can you work with me remotely full-time handling all this? So you can do that. You can still continue getting your few jobs, but now you have a full-time remote job and you're also freelancing. I hope I've answered your question.
Yes, satisfied.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Samson, for answering that question. Isaac Yusuf, your hand was up sometimes back. You could perhaps use this opportunity to ask your question kindly.
Oh, thank you, Madam. And my question was all about how can I register a digital freelancing agency in Kenya? Thank you.
Yes, Isaac. Well, when you talk about the digital freelancing agencies, it depends with the type of services you want to offer, whether you want it to be direct or you want it to be based on another platform. There are platforms that enable you to build an agency. For example, Upwork allows you to build an agency, come together as a group of freelancers and offer specific services. But also in Kenya, one of the things you can do is that, for example, we've seen organizations offering outsourcing services for data entry and data annotation. Now, this one you have to do it directly, you know, as a business or as a company, and then you'll market yourself as a source of digital work or freelancing or freelancers. Yeah.
Thank you, Samson, for that. From the chat box, Sebastian Peter says, you have talked about AI and how it's shifting the digital opportunities. Have you been affected yourself and how did you manage, Samson?
Thank you so much for that. Oh, yes, I've been affected because initially when I was starting as a writer, you know, you're doing very traditional writing. You had to research and line by line write your content. But again, even before ChatGPT and other AI tools came up, we saw systems like Jasper AI that are used to paraphrase content. You pick our research content, you draw it into the platform, and they generate a new copy, no plagiarism and paraphrasing. And so one of the ways was to learn those tools, because what happened is that clients started asking, you know, for writers who have experience in using these tools, because it doesn't mean writing stopped, it's just that it means there was a tool to help in making it effective. So of course was to learn. That's why I talked about being updated with what's going on in the industry. But of course, the other part was also upskilling into other areas. Beyond writing, I became as an SEO strategist. I got into digital marketing because digital marketing requires content. So when you're a content creator, you're inside digital marketing and SEO. So I decided to learn the entire thing so that I'm able to keep up. Yeah.
Interruption, please. Sorry. On the same point, Samson was discussing, and he was talking about a tool for helping him paraphrasing content. So would you mind to share with us those tools, please?
Well, I wouldn't be in a position to share very specific tools, but I know one of them, it's called Jasper AI. Let me share here. It's used to take and paraphrase content. Yeah. Yes, AI, artificial intelligence, where computerized machines are able to learn and understand what you're looking for and
Okay,
support.
thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much, Samson, for that. We have time for one or two more questions. So if you have a question, yes, I can see Pooja's hand up. Yes, Pooja.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, Pooja.
I actually just wanted to compliment what Samson said about the difference between freelancing and remote work. I think it was a very good question and an equally good answer. Can you hear me?
Yes, thank you so much.
What I want to say is that the biggest difference in freelancing and remote work is that in most countries, especially in Kenya, most freelancers are understood as independent contractors. So you may be finding work through a digital labor platform like Upwork or Fiverr, but you sign up as an independent contractor and a worker. And so you are like a small business, small entrepreneur, which means that a number of protections that a general employee has theoretically, those do not apply to a freelancer. Therefore, which means that informing ourselves about our rights as freelancers becomes even more important, and making yourself aware about what kind of taxation rules apply to you, making yourself aware about what are the tariffs and wages that apply to you in your city, in your country. And we have tools for that, which I'm sure our team can share with you. But I think the main point is that a remote work concept is that you may work anywhere, anytime, but within a certain contractual framework. And a freelancer may have a contractual framework and may not have a contractual framework. So therefore, it is even more important for freelancers to inform themselves about their right, as well as where possible find other freelancers or other communities of practice that can actually help you navigate this complicated situation. As Samson was also saying, that he had issues and challenges and how he overcame those. So I think form yourself into smaller groups, find your information, and always ask about what your rights are and what is the base minimum that you deserve and you must get. And for each country, I understand it's very different. I mean, we've worked in Kenya now for 2.5 years and things have evolved several times. But this, I think, was a very good question and a very important question. And therefore, I wanted to jump in and quickly compliment on what Samson had already said. So thank you so much for also giving me this impromptu floor.
Thank you so much, Pooja, for your great insights and input. Yeah, it seems that we do not have more questions from the chat box, and I would like to give it back to
Regina,
Maureen to wind it.
We have more
Sorry?
questions from.
Sorry?
Maureen, we have a question from Shakila in the chat.
Oh, okay. All right. I get it. I was just share your feedback. Shakila, do you mind, because it's a long, tight message, do you mind unmuting yourself and voicing your question, Shakila?
Sure. Hi, everyone. Thank you again to the DOT team for organizing. So I am a PhD student from the US, but I'm studying how Kenyan young people are trying to find jobs in the digital economy. So I'd be really interested to talk to anyone who is in the gig economy or using online platforms, or who has taken one of these online upscaling courses, like on something like Atingi. So I have my email address there, or you could also fill out that online form, and I can reach out to you. But your insights would be super invaluable as I do this research, and I want to make sure that I have a lot of voices heard. So thank you so much.
So if you want, you can reach out to Shakila, who's doing an independent research, and thanks for considering this platform as an option of your research. Great. So somebody I think had asked, and it was responded to. What's AI? AI is artificial intelligence, and I think my assignment is now done, and it's just for me to say thank you so much for the very engaging session. And I think when we started, I said I would love for it to be interactive, and it has been. Samson, thank you so much for your insights, and everybody else who contributed on the chat. Your questions, your comments, your introductions were quite meaningful, and I strongly believe that we have set us, DOT and GIZ have set us on a path of success, and it's going to be as fun as you can make it. And I think as a gig worker, and I said I've been a gig worker for the last 12 years, the space has evolved, and there's a lot of things that we can take advantage of, especially in terms of learning material, in terms of access to opportunities, and most important, skilling and reskilling. Take advantage of Atingi as a course, go in there, do your courses, sign up, get your certification, and put your best foot out there. So Isaac and Pooja, are those old hands or are they new hands?
Yeah, madam, and I'm asking, and if presentation can be shared for the first presenter, because the last presenter was more of talking, but the other one had slides. Would you mind to share the slides with us? Presentation slides, please.
Anthony, are you still on the call? Do you want to take that up?
Come again?
No, I'm asking Anthony. I'm asking Anthony or the DOT team to respond to that.
Anthony, I mean Anthony, the presenter actually, if you can share with us. Thank you.
I can respond to that. So we will share the presentation, and we'll
slides,
also
yeah.
share the recording. The recording has the slides, but yes, we will attach the slides and the recording as well.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm just trying to see if there's any other final share feedback with us. There's a feedback form on the chat. Kindly click on it and give us your feedback so that we are able to actually really come out here and meet you at your point of need. Thank you so much, Faith, for your session. And I think I'll hand it back over to the DOT team.
Thank you so much, Maureen, for such a great moderation. Regina, do you want to take it on? I had you, sorry for the cut in the background. Do you have something to say?
Not really. Whatever I wanted to say, Maureen has answered.
Okay, so thank you so much. I'll just then take this opportunity to offer my closing remarks. I'm not sure I introduced myself when we started. My name is Doreen Kanaiza. I work with DOT Kenya as the communications officer. It's been a pleasure to have you all here. Thank you so much for honoring our invite. And before you leave, guys, we have an info feedback survey in the chat. we have upcoming gig talks that we are going to hold. And so we'd like to know what are your thoughts on this particular one, so that as we hold the next ones, we are able to incorporate this feedback. So it will be very, very helpful if you can take a minute or so to just fill in that survey. The link is in the chat. And if you're here wondering, how do I join Atingi? We've also shared links in the chat. You can check that out. And we'll also, you can also follow us on social media at .Kenya on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Digital Opportunity Trust Kenya on LinkedIn. We do share updates regularly there. So you can always find something, an inspiring info on the project and other projects as well. So asanteni sana, thank you so much for joining us. We've come to an end of the session. I want to give a special thanks to our speaker, Samson, for making it and sharing your insights with us. Thank you so much, Maureen, for such great moderation, and thank you so much to the DOT team and the GIZ for supporting this project. And thank you so much to everyone in the room for making it here. You are free to leave.